Wow. Welcome back to Morning Joe. Steve Ratner, John Meacham, and David Ignatius are still with us. President Trump is headed to the UK right now, leaving the NATO summit the same way he started it, with false claims, attacks on allies, and a clear sense that he's looking to pull the United States away from its friends and toward Vladimir Putin. He reportedly arrived late to an important meeting with Georgia and Ukraine.
Georgia and Ukraine, the two countries that Vladimir Putin have invaded in the past decade.
Much like he did at the G7 in Canada when the topic was gender equality. Joe tweeted about him showing up late this morning, quote, how interesting that Trump would go out of his way to insult the two countries Putin invaded over the past decade. So now the U.S. president performs shameless acts of trolling on Russia's behalf. Just a short while ago, the president claimed that he pushed NATO members to pony up more money for mutual defense than they already agreed upon. The French president then had to refute that, denying Trump's claim that NATO powers agreed to increase defense spending beyond previous targets, while Macron's fact check came several minutes after the president's false statement. We fact-checked in real time as the president lied to the world. Take a look.
I think that NATO was not doing what they were supposed to be doing, a lot of the countries, and we were doing much more than we should have been doing. Frankly, we were carrying too much of a burden. That's why we call it burden sharing. I was using the term a lot today, burden sharing. We had a fantastic meeting at the end.
When it comes to burden sharing,
and they are putting up a lot.
When it comes to burden sharing, as far as the actual expenses of NATO, the United States pays 22% of carrying the cost of NATO. That's 22%, not 90%.
So we're going to have to figure that out.
If you want to talk about military spending, it's about 66%.
Now, after we're at 2%, we'll start talking about going higher. But I said ultimately we should be in years in advance, we should be at 4%. I think 4% is the right number.
All the countries, just one more clarification from what the president is saying, which is actually not connected to reality. All of the countries have committed to 2%. Bob Gates went over for Barack Obama several years ago. Since then, the spending has increased.
We have a great relationship. Everybody in that room, by the time we left, got along, and they agreed to pay more, and they agreed to pay it more quickly.
That actually is false. Also, there are numerous quotes talking about how our allies are distressed by Donald Trump and the way he treats NATO allies.
We have many wealthy countries with us today, but we have some that aren't so wealthy, and they did ask me if they could buy the military equipment and could I help them out, and we will help them out a little bit. We're not going to finance it for them, but we'll make sure that they're able to get payments and various other things so they can buy, because the United States makes by far the best military equipment in the world, the best jets, the best missiles,
just for,
the best guns,
viewers
the best
and listeners who are confused, Donald Trump continually,
I guess I assumed it prior to taking office, but I really learned since being president,
individual military budgets from individual countries flow into NATO. They do not. There are two separate things. There are that question pertained to the 2% that individual countries would be paying for their defense budget, and then you have money that comes into NATO, and we are not talking about that.